you really want to do the work or you just want to look busy?
Ooh.
And you gotta be real with yourself.
Right.
Or do you just want to seem like you that girl?
Right.
Doing all of
Right.
that? You know, because when I did my last business, girl, I was booked and broke. And I said, not this time.
I want to dive into that. So you said your last business, you was booked and broke.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I remember this lady. I remember she was doing the gig for me. And so everybody was going around kind of saying what was going on with life. It was like an exercise, like, how are you really doing?
Right.
And so this lady says, I have 4 jobs and I'm broke.
My God.
It's not that she's broke. It's really more so that she doesn't know her purpose. You're going to be so full on what God called you to do, and then he going to turn around and make it abundantly. Mm-hmm. And you wouldn't have to do 4 jobs and be broke.
And the thing is, you gonna work those 4 jobs, but if you are not aligned and doing what he called you to do, you ain't gonna go nowhere. You will be going in circles like the people in Israel.
That's exactly what she was doing.
Going in circles and never making any progress.
Exactly.
And I know that because when I had that last business, girl, I was making everybody named mama, tutu, hair bows. I mean,
what was that?
Broke. I didn't know the business side. I said, while that's great,
yeah,
you got to know your money. I felt terrible. Like I really wasted all these years, but I felt empowered because now I know what not to do.
There you go.
225 moments where his glory shines. Yeah.
Welcome to 225 Moments with me, MNicole. This is a space of empowerment and encouragement, friend, and I am so glad that you're here. On this podcast, you're going to find episodes and stories of God's restoration power, of He taking us from loss to abundance. And on this episode, we're going to dive straight in, and I have a special guest. I'm so excited about my special guest. I call her my billboard friend. She's Jesus girl. For sure. She's my billboard friend because that's what I see in her. And so it is Erica Hunter. Erica, Tell everybody who you are and let the people know who this billboard Jesus girl is, honey.
I'm so honored. Hi, everybody. I am Erica Hunter, and I am owner of Sweet Lois Cake. We are based in the Lawrenceville, Georgia area. So today I'll be sharing with you guys just kind of how I got started, my journey from moving from Maryland to Atlanta and everything that took place in between there. So it's a ride.
Yes. I'm so happy that you're here. Listen, this is going to be about a journey of faith, family, favor, God's restoration, and rising. Because sometimes we believe when God restores something, He's just going to put it in place. But no. Mm-hmm. His restoration is abundance, right? It's favor. It's tenfold. It is abundance. It's, listen, over anything that we can ask for or think.
That part.
Okay? So I want the people to hear all about you because one thing I always say to you, baby, you can tell a story. You hear me? You can tell a story. If you can find somebody that can post paragraphs on paragraphs on paragraphs on a social media post and people read it. People read your stuff. Like, you can tell people who don't read, because some people just be like, oh, beautiful. No. People have engaging things to say on all of your posts. And so they get me too, girl. Listen, that's like, this is my girl in my head. Like,
social media
for real. And so I want you to start with your journey, because you said you moved here, and of course the business, you're listen, not only are you a billboard Jesus girl, you are a wife to an amazing husband, and you also have a wonderful, beautiful family. Because I always say, your product is what you see, right? Mm-hmm. And so I know from looking and seeing and being around you in the times that we've had that it's good. Mm-hmm. And the people need to hear, because there's some joy in this journey.
Yes.
So tell us about what was it like when you first moved to Atlanta, and how did you even get started with Sweet Lois? Was that before Atlanta? Was that after Atlanta? Give us a little bit of that.
Okay. So back in 2013, we were in Baltimore. I had been nudging my husband to move to Atlanta forever, but he was very complacent. He was just like, no, we're good here. We have a nice house here. I have a good following here. And I just kind of always felt like there was more for us outside of that. And I love my hometown, don't get me wrong. However, I wanted to show my children different. As an entrepreneur, I wanted more. And I felt like I could get more outside of my comfort zone.
Yes.
At the time, I ran a business called Aaron Madison, and I made little girls' hair bows, tutus, bows, and that whole thing, right?
I remember seeing it.
Yeah. So my dream at that time was I was going to go to Atlanta, open up the storefront, and kind of build this children's clothing empire, right?
Right.
But it was just, and it's weird because I was such a babe in Christ at the time that I didn't even realize that was God nudging me. I just kept saying, I want to go. But it was just, I know that God was just like, I have so much for both of you and your family in Atlanta. We get to Atlanta. We thought we had it all planned out, right?
Yeah.
My husband transferred jobs here. We had it all situated. 2 days before we move, his job tell him, yeah, you can't transfer.
Wow.
There's a hiring
2
freeze.
days?
2 days, right? So
Okay, so was he DJing at the time?
he was DJing. He had just started DJing, maybe about 2 years prior.
Okay.
So he was still fairly new.
Okay.
And mind you, we moved to Atlanta with zero connections. I have an aunt that lived here.
Okay.
But I had really no knew anybody.
Right.
here.
Like support.
Support at all. So we moved here. And it's too late now. Our stuff is already on the truck.
It's 2 days?
Yeah, 2 days. So we get down here, and to be completely frank and transparent, it was one of the hardest periods of my life. We rented a home that we had never even seen.
Right. So we found it online or something.
I had my aunt go look at it, but at this point we had to take it if we liked it or not.
Right.
So we get down here, I'm doing my bows. I mean, we're in pure grind mode, but it felt like everything we had planned just went wrong. And then one day my husband and I sat at the table, and I told him, I said, moving back is not an option. I said, God did not bring us here.
That's good.
To leave us. It's something on the other side of this. We had to sit down at that kitchen table and brainstorm. My husband went out literally to clubs, passing out CDs, making connections to get on as a DJ. I eventually get a knock at the door. 2:00 in the morning. The repo man.
Wow.
Take my car. Because at this point, it was choosing shelter or car because the money was the savings. When you're not putting anything back in, that savings get depleted in no time.
Right.
So the car is repossessed. We're down to one vehicle. I found this job, and it was so humbling for me because I took a job that I was way overqualified for. So I come from an insurance background. I'm used to a certain salary, a certain environment. And I walked into this what seemingly looked like a call center and was kind of like, okay. But again, I had to put my big girl panties on, and I had to do what I got to do to feed my family.
I said it all the time too.
To get to the bigger picture, right? So fast forward. This is an important point.
Yeah.
So this house that we're renting, the lady tell us, I've decided to sell the home.
What?
You have 30 days.
But how long y'all been in the house by then?
Not even, almost a year. So it's almost time for the lease to be up. Okay. So she says, you have 30 days to find somewhere to live. Now, because of the repossession, the credit's all crazy, right? Yeah. We were living, and I'm going to try not to get emotional because I do every time I tell this story.
No, tell it.
We were staying in an extended stay. So I'd still be showing up, still doing my hair, and just miserable. I remember feeling so low and broken. Like, did I hear God right? This is really what I'm supposed to be doing? Because why? Like, why? So,
and you felt like you was going backwards.
I do. I felt like I was going backwards. It was starting to create some tension between my husband and I. I was a bit resentful. He was a bit resentful to me. Like, I had this good, comfortable area. I mean, thing going on in Baltimore, and then you bring me here, and this is crazy, right? Right. So we ended up getting another house. Like I said, I worked a job. I finally went back into insurance, was back into the environment I was used to, the salary I was used to. Things kind of started looking up. We were able to restore and repair our credit. And one day I looked up, and when you're on autopilot and you're just grinding, you sometimes can overlook your blessings, right? Oh, yeah. And one day I looked and I said, this is all beauty for ashes. Literally, God took every tear we cried and he repaid us.
That's
so sometimes
good.
When people look at maybe things we have or
the journey,
they don't understand feeding your kids on a hot plate in an extended stay, pepper steak so it can stretch.
Yes.
And it was tough.
I'm
It
sure.
was tough. So I started Sweet Lois. I had a vision board party and I forgot to order a cake. So I said, I'm going to try to make a cake. I knew how to bake.
Yeah.
I said, let me bake this cake. Let me decorate on YouTube, right? YouTube University.
Right. You was like, I could do this. Let me just do it real quick.
This cake, and my friend Dawn and my friend Janore there. And they're like, oh, the cake is so nice. And my friend Janore says, you should make Journey cake for her birthday. And I said, girl, oh my God, no, I'm not making no cake. She said, no, I trust you making one. I think she would like it. So I made it. We get to the party. They cut the cake. People are enjoying the cake. I'm cringing because I'm like, oh my God, what if they don't like it?
Right.
And that's where Sweet Lois came from.
Wow.
Yeah. And then Sweet Lois is actually named after my grandmother.
I was just about to ask.
Yeah. Sweet Lois came. My grandmother's name was Dolores, and we affectionately called her Lois.
Okay.
And she taught me. I remember being a little girl, and I hope my cousins, Reagan, Tia, Tamika, I hope everybody can see this.
Yes.
And know that we were little. We went on St. Regis Road to my grandmother's house while all of our mothers went to the mall shopping, and we were stuck with our grandmother. And my grandmother used to make cakes for the church. So on Saturday, she'd be baking. So we watch her bake, and that's how I learned.
That's how you learn.
So I felt like when I'm starting this business, what a great way to honor my grandmother.
Yeah.
Yep. So all those Saturdays, all of letting us lick the spoon were insane.
Yeah. Okay. So Journey Cake came and you made that cake.
Yes.
And then what that year was like? Was that mid-year, the beginning of the year? Like, how did you start to pivot where, I mean, because you bake for a lot of people. You have.
Yes.
And we know you're selective now, but tell us the story, child. No, I want to know.
I started with, like I said, with Journey's cake, and then people liked the cake. So I thought, okay, well, let me give this a try.
Yeah.
So I started baking, and one of my very good friends, Kelly Farrell, she's actually on the Housewives of Atlanta now. I baked a cake for her. She was like, oh my God, I want a cake. I love strawberry.
Yeah.
So I baked her a cake, and Lord, thank you, Kelly girl, because that cake was some kind of ugly now looking at it. But back then it was, it was cute, but it was delicious.
Yeah.
She referred me to a few people, Janore, a couple people that were at Journey's party kind of just started ordering, and it just kind of took off from there.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
And I just started learning.
And so when you came up with your recipes, how did you use the little girl experiences from your grandmother to say, I'm gonna do this flavor? Like, what did, cause see, when you kind of get into stuff like that, you had to be self-taught, but yet you were self-taught from a little girl, right?
Right.
And then now you kind of putting yourself out here with the big wigs. So it's like, okay, like what flavors do I do? How do I, make sure my brand is different? And you really stand out. Like, what's my niche market? Like, how did that kind of form, even down to your creativity in it?
Well, I learned a lot from my first business. I know for sure that God placed me here to be a creative.
Okay.
That's one. And I think that that's so important for people to understand. I believe that we have scholars and then we have creatives. And then there's a small population of people that are both.
That's good.
Right? So I am a creative. I'm an intelligent woman, but I'm definitely a creative. So what I did was when I realized I was going to do this business and take it serious, I looked at everything I did wrong with my prior business. Because I don't care how talented you are, if you don't know business,
oh, that's good.
You won't make any money.
Tell me about it.
And it's not a hobby for me. I tell people all the time, I don't haggle my prices. It's not a hobby.
Yes.
I am a for-profit.
Yes, like this ain't no, we just playing around. Like
anybody who knows me, I've done business, I don't play about my money. I'm very nice.
It's
but
your time.
Yeah, I don't play about my money.
Yeah.
So I sat down, like I said, I did a business plan. I kind of looked at the aesthetics I wanted for the brand. What I wanted that to look like to people. And that's why I was very careful, even in my social media posting. Nobody has to know I'm a beginner.
That's right.
And so I took the foundation of my grandmother's baking, but I also elevated and added different things that I wanted, because my grandmother's classic was a yellow cake with chocolate icing. And while that's great, I can't run a business on yellow cake
just
with chocolate
yellow cake.
icing.
Yeah,
right.
That's true.
So I had to, and my husband can attest to this, that I've spent thousands of dollars buying flour, sugar, vanilla, just to practice it, to see what works and what doesn't work. Getting my friends to taste test. I even hosted like a little mock tasting with my friends years ago, just so they could tell me and be honest. Is it too dense? Is it not? Is it sweet enough? Is it too gritty? Is it too,
just so I balance.
Yeah, so I can get good because I love that the cakes are pretty, but I just didn't want to be one of those people that have pretty nasty cakes.
Oh my God.
Girl, that's people like that.
Listen, I've had some pretty nasty cakes before.
And I don't want that to be my story. And I'm not saying I haven't got it wrong maybe a time or two.
No, it's okay.
But baby, it got to be, I want to give good cake.
So the one thing about baking, because I'm a creator too, and I love
You certainly are.
to cook. Oh my God. Listen, you put me in
Baby, your menu's eating down.
I'm finna chef it up. Like what? Like
Period.
I'm finna do it. So, but one thing I'm not good at, and I'm not good at it because I am intentionally not putting my focus to be good there, is baking. I feel like baking is such a formula, right? Because here's the catch. Once you come up with the foundation and you put it in, that's it. You can't just go back like you cook and say, oh, it need a little bit of this, it need a little bit of that. You got a little bit in the mix.
Yeah, it's a science.
Then put it in.
Yeah.
And then when you add the icing, right? It's a balance to that. Like the icing can't overwhelm the cake and the cake can't overwhelm the icing.
Yes.
And they can't both be banging sweet because now you send people to the emergency room.
Giving people diabetes.
Simply because they done had a slice of your cake and they sugar to the roof, right? It's a balance to that. And so I always say, like, when I see people that are great bakers and they've really mastered that, like, that's a talent. Like,
thank you. It is a science to it. And for me, like I said, I would get the ingredients and I would just play with them. When you have a base recipe, I have a base formula. I don't deviate from that. I can switch up the flavorings. I can add fruit. I can add, and even with adding fruit, there's a science to how to add it, what to coat it in so it won't make the cake too soggy and, you know, hold up its flavor. There's a science to it. And it takes work though. And I feel like, moist. My husband, my husband say all the time, like, I throw away so many cakes.
Really?
If it's not right, I am not giving people trash. I'm not giving people anything that I wouldn't want myself.
Yeah.
And don't give me no dry cake.
Yeah. So tell me about how, so the baking could hit off from the vision board party. It's amazing how parties like that just ignite something in you and boom, here comes this new passion. So you got the insurance job. You're doing Sweet Lois now. Tell me about how your husband's DJing also was elevated. Like, was it at the same time? I mean, did you guys like both go hard together and then it was like, boom, now we good? Or did you go straight hard and he helped you go straight hard? Because it takes a team, right? And then did you go back and say, okay, now it's time to focus on you. You go straight hard and then he, elevated? Or I'm just wondering, like, how was that playing field? Because sometimes that whole juggle between the power of the two can take people in a different direction.
Yeah. And I am grateful that my husband and I share the same work ethic with grinding. And I would say that his business definitely took off way before mine because I wasn't even baking at the time.
Okay.
When he hit the ground running in Atlanta, he started building relationships. And not only is he a DJ, but he's a drummer. So he plays drums at a church.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's a drummer.
I didn't know that. I kind of know that. I think I kind of knew. Yeah.
So his connections, were way more. His business had grown before I even started the cake business.
Okay.
But we have always supported each other. And so when he worked a full-time job as well. And so I think it was 2019, his job just laid off everybody. And so at that time I went, I had an opportunity to work a contract insurance job, which gave me a very, very handsome salary. And so what I told him was, don't go look for another job. I can hold it down. You focus on getting this business where it need to be full time.
Yeah, that's good.
Because it's counterproductive if you work, because I was working in Jacksonville. So I was traveling between Jacksonville and Atlanta. I would be in Jacksonville during the week and come home to Atlanta and bake on the weekends.
Yeah.
So he was just like, and I think we struggled a little bit, just to be perfectly honest, with the pride thing. As a man, he's like, what do you mean?
Oh, yeah.
But he was making really good money.
Yeah.
But for him, if he didn't have that 9 to 5, he felt like
he wasn't a man.
Yeah, and I said, listen, put all that aside. Like, stick to don't forget our bigger picture. As long as we get there, it doesn't matter.
That's good.
What routes we take to get there. We both want to be here.
Yeah.
So I will hold this down. It's not like you're not paying any bills, not making any money.
Right.
Because I ain't being with no bum. Anybody who knows me
Well,
know.
you knew that.
Yeah,
But you know, that kind of reminds me of the story with Tabitha Brown. Remember
Yeah.
how people, and they went in on her
Yep.
for retiring her husband who held her down the whole time.
Yes.
It's a team effort.
It's a team effort. And it worked out great for us because, like I said, he has not had to go back to work.
Right.
And his salary is quadruple.
Right.
What he was making. He has, he don't like when I say it, but he is a celebrity DJ.
He is.
I mean, he DJs creme de la creme when it comes to that.
That's good.
And then it's such a beautiful thing that we get to work together. So we have weddings together. A lot of our connections, brides reach out to me. He'll refer me. I'll refer him. So it's a really planners that hire us both together. So it's a really good combination.
Yeah. And like those experiences, they do more than just push you, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get to pull from that. Like, he'll never forget, like, when things was what it was, you held him down.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this could be, you'll never do that again.
Yeah.
I mean, in life.
Sure.
Like, we passed that phase, baby. But like, when it comes down to relationships and building in that area, those are the things that stick.
Yes.
You can throw stuff at a wall and keep throwing it, but when you look back at, not only did you say, I'm going to hold it down in the household, but you turned around and said, focus on getting things the way they're supposed to be.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And then how can you do that, hold it down, and still push and elevate? See, that's hard for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
That sound real good in the trenches. Right.
And I don't even know. I don't know how I did it. Sometimes I really look back and be like,
right.
I think I am just one of those laser focused people.
Yeah.
That when I set a goal, I knew where we needed to be financially. I knew where we wanted to be as far as knocking stuff off our list. And we had to get there.
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer in team.
Yeah.
Because it's not you often see these 50-50 versus this and that. Baby, let's just get to the bread. Let's get to the goal. Because that's what the whole common goal is.
Right.
But it helped us spiritually.
Yeah, absolutely.
It got to the point where I was just like, before we made decisions, like, we got to see God on this. Because only what comes from God lasts.
That's right. Yes.
Only what comes from God lasts.
That's good.
And I felt like God put us in the trenches so we couldn't depend on nobody but him. We don't owe nobody but God.
I'm telling you.
Nobody but God.
Oh, that's good. And then when you look back at it, because you know how people love to say, like, oh, I remember when, and your humble beginnings. Listen, we all had to start somewhere. And I'm glad you remember that. And this just shows you how good God is.
Yes.
And if he done it for me, he can do it for you.
He sure will. Absolutely. And I don't feel any kind of shame with people knowing. My husband used to feel like, well, you shouldn't tell, certain things. And I feel like, one, I am in tune with God enough to use discernment.
There you go.
And so while you can be vulnerable and transparent, you should discern who you can be that with.
That's true.
Because I honestly feel like we don't go through these things for us all the time.
Oh, never.
Sometimes we go through these experiences so I can, help somebody else in my story that may be going through that. Or a woman that might feel like they're going to leave their marriage because
there you go.
This. And I'm telling them that if you have a mate that want the same things out of life as you, stick in there and ride it and get to the goal together. So sometimes we don't go through things for us. We go to the bless others. But if we keep it all to ourselves.
Yeah. That's why I always love when you post a story, because you just tie it in so good at the end. It's like Jesus girl at the end. Jesus girl.
Because I always say, God get all the glory. And I tell people, and I tell my children this all the time, it's great to have a great paying job. It's great to have successful businesses, but all of these things are resources. And if you neglect your source, God,
yes, that's true.
The resources will go.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And then tell us about, so Sweet Lois is popping. Things are going.
Mm-hmm.
What's next? Because now you're climbing. A husband's career is doing his thing. The kids, I always say you're so active in the kids. So I would say the kids is doing that thing. Tell us about more of the journey.
The burnout.
The
burnout.
Yeah.
See, autopilot is good, but autopilot can't be for a long time.
Yeah.
Because you get burnt out.
Okay, so dive into that. Like burnout meaning what? So you got a lot of customers, you taking a lot of orders, you don't have the right staff, or just you as a person have burned out. Like what does burnout look like? Tell us about that.
How many hours we got?
Girl, tell it, girl.
So we have it's so complex because it's a few different burnout phases for me.
Mm-hmm.
My business literally grew way quicker than I was prepared to handle. On top of being, I do litigation.
Yeah.
For my career.
For your firm.
Which is, I have to read contracts all day long.
Yeah.
High dollar claims. I use my brain a whole lot.
Yeah.
So I have to run a business. I have to be this career woman. I have to still, make time for my husband and be a wife. I have to show up for my daughters.
Yes.
My son. I have to show up for myself.
That's true. First.
I have to show up. Well, first I have to show up for God. I got and try to balance all of these things that I became burnt out. So I would say phase 1 was feeling like just tired. And I'm not a tired person. I rarely sleep. I like to
keep going. Yeah.
And I started to fizzle out. The second level of burnout for me was imposter syndrome. So my business grew and I started thinking like, I'm not doing enough. I don't, or, you see other people opening up storefronts. Oh my God, I've been doing this for X amount of years. I don't have a storefront yet. So I'm making mountains out of molehills, right? I'm creating, this whole thing in my mind that's not even reality.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so then I'm looking at designs and I'm trying to do it all. So I'm taking orders. I'm doing stuff that don't feel good to me creatively.
Yeah.
I burned out.
Yeah.
On top of my mom got a cancer diagnosis. And that rocked my world. So now I have to show up for her.
Yeah.
So I had to, I remember crying out to God. I was in the bathtub. And I said, God, I am tired. I have been working since I've been 13 years old.
Right.
I'm tired.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I remember going to sleep and I woke up at 4:44 in the morning.
444.
4:44.
Come on.
And I felt confirmation in my spirit to say, you can't enjoy now because you're so focused on next. You burning yourself out.
Wow.
You won't even let God be God. You're trying to control every area of your life. You will not let God be God. I can't even, you're praying and you leave it. I can't even give you no nuggets. I can't even deposit anything into you because you've prayed and gone.
Right.
You reading your word and the phone going off. Your notifications.
Right.
You making all those things your God. Like sit still. Let me be God.
Oh, that's good. And I say that all the time about how, how sometimes people believe that being busy is productive or being busy is God, but really the busyness is keeping them away from their purpose. But they have confused that because that gives them temporary highs.
But this is where you need a therapist.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Because I love Jesus, but I love therapy. Okay.
Yes.
And so my therapist helped me dig into this need to be successful, this need to be busy, which came from my daddy issues.
Yeah.
From daddy issues, girl. Ooh, I thought I was healed, right? I would tell anybody I'm healed. I done forgave that man. That man did the best he could with what he knew. But no.
Yes.
I felt like this, I'm going to show him.
Yeah.
I'm going to be that girl. I'm going to get to the, and when you're doing anything with the wrong heart, because I preach this all the time, heart work is so important. If that heart ugly, or you doing things to be spiteful or to get back or to show people, you are not doing it with the right spirit and it will not go nowhere.
Oh, that's good.
Not long term.
It's good. It's so crazy because it kind of reminds you of people who focus on the exterior so much, right? They'll go to the gym, or I want a tummy tuck, or I'm going to go and get this. I'm going to get some lipo, or I'm going to work out every day and I'm going to really lose this weight. But nobody is focusing on losing the stuff or reading the things that don't serve your heart space, that don't need to be there. Who is doing that boot camp? Nobody. People, they overlook that. They rather look the part versus being the part.
Right?
Right?
I always say beautiful emptiness.
Beautiful emptiness. That's good.
Yeah, because they empty inside, or they're heavy. They got so much baggage on the inside. So while I like to look good externally, I go to the gym. I put a lot of work. But I remember a time when we first got to Atlanta. I was bored. I was bored. I ain't know nobody here. I was broke. So I was baking pound cakes every 5 minutes, pork chops and gravy. I mean, we was eating Southern food. Girl, I got so big. One day I looked in the mirror and I said, who are you?
Right.
Like, this is not you. And so I did the work internally first.
Good.
I had an overbite. I didn't like how I did the work. I fixed my inside first. I had to speak to a therapist because I am trying to eat away something.
Right. And I don't even know what it is. So
I don't know what it is. You tell me later.
Listen, I'm up in here just let her cook.
Right.
And I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just eating thinking that's going to give me a temporary high.
And it doesn't.
And so listen, at that moment it may taste good, but afterwards the fat, the pain, all the things you're adding on. And the only thing you're doing is putting on more and more layers that you eventually have to let go of when you're ready.
Yep. And excuse my language, but I often say, you got to sit with your shit.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You do.
And you got to be accountable.
Yeah.
Because you cannot grow in life. So that was another thing. A part of my burnout was I had to sit in my own stuff and be accountable.
That's good.
Say, it is you, Erica, that has created these scenarios that don't exist. It is you that is trying to do every cake design that come out.
Right.
That's not the vision I gave you for this business.
Who told you to take 1,000 clients in a month?
Who told you to tell? You keep not telling the people no. You're trying to please everybody else. But are you trying to please the people because you really want to do the work, or you just want to look busy?
Oh.
Right? And you gotta be real with yourself.
Right.
Or do you just want to seem like you that girl?
Right.
All of this?
Right.
Because when I did my last business, girl, I was booked and broke. And I said, not this time. No ma'am, no Sam. Because the coin don't match.
So tell me about that. I want to dive into that real quick, and then we'll go back to Sweet Lois. So you said your last business, you was booked and broke. That's a lot of people though. Because listen, I remember this lady, she would come and do services for me. I'm not going to say what services because I don't want to put all her business out there. But I remember when we were up for real. I remember she was doing the gig for me. And this was just this past December. And, people, when I do stuff, they're always purpose something. We always doing something intentionally. And so everybody was going around kind of saying what was going on with life. And it was like, because it was like an exercise, like, how are you really doing?
Right.
Not like how you doing.
Right.
How are you really doing?
Like, for real.
For real. And this is a room full of ladies where we're just, having a good time. And so this lady says, I have 4 jobs and I'm broke.
My God.
And so, and listen, this is fresh. Like, this ain't 2020. This ain't 2019. I'm talking about this was 2024, December. This is fresh.
Ooh.
And I just remember looking at her saying, it's not that she's broke. It's really more so that she doesn't know her purpose. See, your purpose is not going to get you to chase all these things. You're going to be so full on what God calls you to do. And then he gonna turn around and make it abundantly. And you wouldn't have to do 4 jobs and be broke.
And the thing is, you gonna work those 4 jobs, but if you are not aligned and doing what he called you to do, you ain't gonna go nowhere. You will be going in circles like the people in Israel.
That's exactly what she was doing.
Going in circles and never making any progress.
Exactly.
And I know that because when I'm outside of the will,
listen, it's hard.
When I had that last business, girl, I was making everybody named mama, tutu, hair bows. I was... Girl,
yes, tell us about that. So what was, broke. You was busy but broke. What was that?
Broke. I didn't know the business side. I had the talent, right? I like to do it. And like I said, while that's great, you got to know your money.
Yeah.
You got to make sense. So I remember after I shut the business down, I paid a lady who was a forensic accountant to go back and look, just to kind of see what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
Because again, I got burnt out there, and I burnt out there because I was taking so many orders, but wasn't really making no money.
Yeah.
And she said, you are grossly undervalued and undercharged.
Wow.
Grossly.
Wow. How that made you feel?
Terrible. Terrible and empowered. Because I felt terrible. Like I really wasted all these years of my life, but I felt empowered because now I know what not to do.
There you go. You got the lesson.
Forward.
You got the lesson.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So now I had to, again, this is where the accountability comes in because now I got to sit my tail down and learn how to write a business plan the right way. I got to learn how to properly price, how to price my labor. And then I had to see a therapist because I got to know that how to value myself.
Come on.
How to value myself.
Oh my God.
How to put a price point on me.
That's good.
On me.
That's so good. That's so good.
And so that's what I took into Sweet Lois. I was not making those same mistakes that I made before.
Yeah.
And everybody won't be my customer, and I'm okay with that. But again, when you are operating the way God has instructed you to,
yes,
girl, I promise you, all of my clients are creme de la creme.
Come on.
I get to send me the invoice, Erica.
And it's paid the day of.
And we thank you.
Yes.
I don't get the...
Yes. I got to think about it.
But I think there has a huge part, too, of how you present yourself.
Absolutely.
Like, I often see bakers and I cringe because I don't care how trendy these TikToks are where they do little skits and they're kind of like demeaning the client or say things they get annoyed about that customers ask them.
Yeah.
I never partake in that because to me, it brings negative energy to your page, to your business. And that's not what we're about.
Absolutely.
I am here to answer questions. People who support me are not bakers.
That's right.
Most of them don't even have businesses of their own. So they don't know
and understand it.
Baking jargon.
Yeah.
So if they say, I want 4 layers and they mean 4 tiers, that is my job. I've had people and I think I've posted about this on Facebook, when people come to me and say, oh no, your price was too high. And I said, well, perhaps we can look at this differently. What is your budget? Tell me what your budget is. And I might be able to rework a design with maybe not as many florals, no acrylic pieces. Maybe instead of 4 tiers, we do 2 tiers and then put a filler layer in the middle or a faux cake.
Yeah.
Give people options. And I've actually built some great relationships with that approach.
Yeah.
Instead of just being so rude to people. But I don't get the negative Nancy's. I've had a few. I can count on one hand. And the entire time I've been doing this, that I've had customers that have really went in like, oh no, we're not working with her no more.
But I kind of feel like this though. And it's just me being in business for a while and knowing how people are. You have to use good discernment when you do that.
Yeah.
Because some people, when they say your prices is too high, it's okay. I hope you find what you're looking for.
Oh, I get that. I tell them that.
Sometimes it's not. It just depends. Gotta give you, like, I remember meeting this lady and she had done some services for me. And when I tell you, I felt like her services was top layer. Like, girl, this is like, I know the industry she's in because I've done some work in that industry myself. Not that I'm doing work in it now because that's not my purpose. So I'm okay with that.
Right.
But I notice, see, when you walk in your purpose, it's easy to notice people that are not. Oh, it's so easy.
For sure.
They get around you and it feels like they ain't take a bath. You're like, she ain't hit her purpose yet. You know what I mean? And so something in you can tug and feel like, you know what, God, I hear you. You want me to sew right here. I'm going to do that. Now, I was in that position where I saw her work. I saw what she put out. And God wanted me to sew. And I put that in front of her. I said, call me. After this, call me because I want us to connect because I felt deeply she needed good mentorship.
Okay.
Now, my mentorships, and this is more of like the VIP private mentorships where you just get me and nobody else around. Just us.
Like a one-on-one.
Right, one-on-one mentorship. So this is what I was offering her. I want to say, I met with her that one time and I had the whole contract ready to go and all of that. She came back about a month later and said that she decided to decline.
Oh.
I
wasn't expecting that.
But here's the catch. I could have taken that personal because I'm not only am I sewing, I am giving her the game, right? And I was doing it because I was obedient.
Right.
And I had to just take off my feelings off my sleeve and say, God, I did what you told me to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that whatever happens in her life, she knows she had that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And because I was obedient, he's only going to multiply what I touch.
Yep.
And I just feel like nobody should be too big to be coached.
Yeah.
Nobody should be too big to feel like they need mentorship. Listen,
Never stop learning.
I have some amazing coaches, and not just I have one. I have 3 coaches in different areas.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's who I want to be. I want to be great in those areas.
Right.
And the coaches just help you from making mistakes.
I was my pastor Darius Daniels talked about that one day, and he said people want all of these things to happen for them in the business sector, and they don't want to pay.
They don't.
You have to pay to get the best resources,
Yes,
to get the best information. YouTube is great, but some people aren't giving you the real, the real deal, how to be successful. You have, but invest. You should want to, though.
Yeah,
you should want to.
Yeah,
you should want to invest in yourself, in your brand, in your knowledge, so that you can present the best.
Yes, yes.
Because if I continue to go to YouTube University, my cakes would have reflected that.
You're right about that.
But I spent the money, and I've trained with Minette Rushing.
Yeah.
I've trained with Julie Miller. And neither one of them are cheap. At all.
Right.
But I spent the money, took the time off work, traveled, and the wealth of information I learned has helped my business tremendously.
Oh yeah, I know.
So you have to spend the money.
You do.
Yeah.
You do. And I think, see, I also felt like, okay, God, I obeyed you, right? I felt like God wanted me to make sure it was a message for me, but I felt like it was a bigger message for her, right? The bigger message for her was what she was doing. It was reflected in what someone else saw, because that's what she didn't see in her. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you said this thing about I had to see my worth too.
Yeah.
That whole imposter syndrome for you to even charge what you were supposed to be charging.
Yeah.
That's also, I felt like that's what was going on with her right away.
Yeah. And until you, whether it's therapy, whether it's whatever kind of intervention, you have to get to a place in entrepreneurship where you value and see yourself and appreciate the work and time. Like my husband, baby, he never had no imposter syndrome. When I tell you, I learned,
he know off the top, baby.
I learned so much from him.
Yes.
He's not cheap.
Yeah.
He understands the value he brings to the event. So he's doing these weddings.
Yes.
I mean, weeks on end, he is curating playlists. And he's, if you are from New Orleans and your husband is from New York,
he's blended.
He know what kind of crowd he gonna have. So he's gonna make sure he's gonna give you a top tier experience. He knows that. So he charged to reflect that. And it took me a while to get there. He would have to tell me, like, babe, you're not charged. If you understand the time that you put in the creative, I had to learn it.
Right.
So she missed out on a huge opportunity, which I'm praying that at this point she has learned to value herself, because I'm sure she'll look back like, dang.
Yes. Now, I have seen progress from things, but as we know, that doesn't mean it's progress in here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so one thing I always pride myself on, this is just me tooting my horns, is that I'm not just that coach to motivate you. I'm teaching you the principles of being spiritual and how to always have that connection. Like, what if someone told you you had a speed dial connection to whatever you needed spiritually? Because whatever we want in the physical is already done in spirit.
Yep.
We just don't know how to tap in. You know, we feel like God is the God that our grandparents told us about, and we just got to get down on our knees and pray. Yes, that works. But what if there was more? Because your life is more. It's bigger than all of that.
Yeah. And not only that, praying, but you have to get your relationship with God right. Because you got to be able to hear him.
Absolutely.
And if you're not connected to him, you're praying, but like I said, if you ain't sitting still or you ain't reading your word or you're not really learning how to really be specific in your prayers and how to connect with him.
Yeah. You're right.
What are you really doing?
You're right.
Because again, you won't know his voice.
Yeah.
You won't know how to
You're
discern.
too busy.
You won't know how to, or either you're too busy or you're just not putting the time that it takes to manifest those things. Because, you know, God will give us the desires of our heart.
Yes.
But I also know, and I always pray and ask God, give me what I can handle.
Oh, that's good.
Because I had an opportunity just the other day. I did an event with Sugarcoat and Lamika.
Okay.
Absolutely love.
I love her. She did our wedding cake.
No, not Lamika.
Okay.
Lamika events.
Oh, Lamika. Okay.
Yeah, her name is Michelle.
Okay. Okay.
Years ago when I first started doing cakes, Lord bless my heart. I ain't really know what I was doing yet. But my friend Alexis,
ain't that old.
My friend Alexis did her wedding. So she was like, I really want you to connect with her. She's a great planner in the Atlanta area. So she was kind enough to let me bring her a tasting box.
Okay.
Now at this time, I don't know how to package it. I don't really know. The presentation is not really up to par because, you know, I don't play about presentation,
but
right?
presentation always A1.
So I give her this box. She never called me. She never called me to do any work. And I remember being so bummed. Fast forward to last week, my friend Peru hired me to do desserts for her, the grand opening of her new salon, right?
Okay.
And Michelle was the planner.
Wow.
So I had an opportunity to work with her.
But not in that capacity.
And this time it kicked.
Yeah.
But this time I'm ready.
Yeah.
So, and I'm thankful. And I thought about that on the ride home. And I said, Lord, I thank you. Because had she tried to hire me back then, I probably would have not been able to really fully deliver the excellence that she produced.
Yeah.
So God gives you what you're supposed to have when you are ready for it. That is my daily prayer. Yeah. Give me what I can handle for right now.
Not what I'm putting on for.
Not what I'm putting on for. What I can really, because I don't want to, I believe in doing everything in excellence. I don't care how small of an event it is, how give people or give whatever you do 2,000%. Let people see the God in everything you do. Do it the right. Give God the best.
Right. And you know what? Sometimes the most people would even witness God is through you. People looking, I pray to God, and okay, so you think you finna see God? You finna touch his hair and put his, touch his nose and touch his gown. Like what you thinking? Right? Because the God that you want to see, it could be Erica sitting next to me that God is going to use to let me see him. Right? That was the experience I felt like with that young lady. I felt like God used me so she can see him in that experience. And hoping that the rest of the work, however it landed, will come in here and do some work.
And that's why it's so important for me. I preach to my children all the time about character and integrity. Because you can't be out here representing God and saying you're doing all these, because I have seen so much people that speak and actions don't line up. You got to be what you.
Oh yeah.
You got to be on real time, and you got to give people excellence all the way around.
Yes.
And like I said, it sounds like she's missed out on a true.
Listen, I was ready.
Experience.
I was so ready to give it to her. But God knows all things. You never know. I mean, she may come back around, but and I had to, like I said, make sure I didn't take it personal, because I knew that not only was I giving her mentorship, but I was actually doing it at no cost. And that was. Yeah, she knew that. What? I mean, it was more of a, I'm not saying total no cost. It's gonna be at a barter or for whatever I needed to.
Right.
But I would just say that I don't typically do that. But I feel like God was doing something for me too, because I'm stupid busy. I don't know if I would even have the time.
Right.
But I was being obedient.
Right.
Is what I was focused on. So that was good. So tell us about now. You've learned the lessons from the Madison and Bowles, and then you went over and Sweet Lois is at a Burnout.
Yes.
So at this Burnout, did you pause? Did you just say, no more Sweet Lois, I gotta focus on me? And what was that?
Girl, this is funny. So I said one day, I told my husband, I'm not doing this no more.
You just bust out and just said it.
It was one day when I had so many orders. I had a mediation for work. I was tired. I had to hurry up and fly home because my mom had been taken to the hospital.
Wow.
I was overwhelmed. I was like, I'm tired. I'm not doing this anymore. I refuse. I give up. My husband was like, you gonna give up on it? I said, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm tired. I'm done.
Right.
God said, mm-mm. I put on there not taking orders.
Yeah.
I put a response on my email. Thank you for reaching out. We are no longer accepting orders. Yada yada yada. Right.
Yeah.
I was gone.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
That chapter was closed.
Yeah.
I get my clients, Erica, hey, please,
Yeah.
can you take this order from me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to take it. But the time that I have been down, because that's currently where I'm at.
Yeah.
I'm currently closed for new clients.
Slow
I
motion.
am still working with planners and people that I have established relationships with.
Mm-hmm.
But I am closed from new clients. And as I'm doing the work, and I'm having this downtime, one, I'm getting to seek God more. So instead of it being what Erica want to do, I'm asking God to make sure I am doing what He
That's good.
would have me do
That's
in this
good.
season. And because I'm not overwhelmed with cakes and not overwhelmed with work and not overwhelmed with my mom, thank the Lord Jesus, she is healed. She is in remission.
So happy
rang the
for you
bell
on
last
that.
December.
Yes.
So thank you, God, for that. I am in a clear head space. I am in a clear heart space where I can get from God what I'm supposed to do next.
Yes.
So we are going to relaunch
Okay.
August 2025. However, there will be a lot of boundaries set,
Uh-huh.
a lot of designs I just will no longer entertain because it doesn't feel good to me creatively.
Yeah.
I know for sure I can sit here today and know that the vision God gave me for my business.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not in limbo
Yeah.
anymore. God is going to provide every need with the aesthetic I have for my brand. I don't have to do it all.
Yeah.
I don't have to do every trend. I don't have to do every design. I don't have to do it all.
Yeah.
I just have to do what God gave me really well.
Yeah. You know, when I think about Sweet Lois and even my experiences, because you've done at least 2 of my things, maybe 3 of my cakes for my birthday. One of the things that I always love is that I look at your line of the way you present your bakery as a fashion line.
Really?
I do.
Oh, thank
So
you.
it's like what's new for the spring? What's new for the winter? And you can always look at yours and be like, oh, that's hot. So I don't know with the lunch what you got in mind, but I would encourage you to walk in your lane in that, because that's a lane I don't know if you've built. I just feel like it's like what's next, but at your terms though. Because remember, like when you look at designers and how they do fashion, they don't do it based on necessarily trends. Sometimes it's trends, sometimes it's influence of colors for the season. But whatever they create, because you are a creative, is to you.
Yep. And that's the space I'm in now. When we rebrand, your invite will be out for the soiree we're having on August 1st.
Yes.
It's going to display the exact aesthetic.
Nice.
We will love to work with people and make all of their beautiful cakes and treats if it aligns
with the aesthetic
branding of Sweet Lois. If not, I have curated an amazing list of other bakers that I can refer them to, because it's enough for everybody to eat.
That's true.
So I don't have to say no and just send them on their way, or it doesn't, I won't be able to take that order. But hey, this person does more of that. I have a young lady that I met that only do children cakes.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to be sending the Mickey Mouse Paw Patrols to her, because that's her aesthetic. That's what she thrives in. She doesn't even like doing what I do.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we can swap. Send me all the florals, send me all the elegance, all of the, and I'll send you all the Mickey Mouse Paw Patrol, Barbie Bratz.
Yes.
All of them to you.
So are you thinking about a brick and mortar this time, or just you're thinking that you're going to stay in the private bakery? I know that you have like a private, what they call it, the whole kitchen. I know you got a private kitchen, but
I have some things that God has not given me the okay to release.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Come on,
but I have some things that some things working.
Yeah.
And you'll be the first to know. You have to have me back.
Yeah, you are. Yes, girl. Listen, by then you're gonna have your own thing, girl.
Okay.
But listen, I feel like your journey is such one that people can relate to so much, because who haven't been down in the trenches and God and listen, down and they look for God. Like, God, I know you pulled me here, right? I'm looking for you. Like, and why do it feel like my life is going in the opposite direction when that shouldn't be? And then when you look at, you know, the dynamic between the husband and wife, some people would have been like, child, that ain't work. I'm out. Especially these days.
Yeah.
I mean, and they post everything online, all the business. And then you're looking around like, oh, you know, I know everything about it. But it's not that's when you know that wasn't God, because his intent is not to destroy.
Right. Absolutely.
This is supposed to build you up, and you're supposed to get something from it. And listen, now other women can hear your story and say, man, you know, John, you know, he was in position. He pushed her. She pushed him. It was a complete team effort, but the teamwork was defined between the two of them.
Right. And see, the teamwork too is both of you guys have to want that common goal. I've had a young lady that I speak to often, and I was kind of telling her a little bit about my story. Yeah. But I had to be honest with her. I was like, sis, it don't seem like y'all even want the same things, because you be careful with that. Because we're not taking care of grown men.
That's right.
And grown men shouldn't take care, fully take care of grown.
Right.
Y'all should have a common goal that y'all working towards. Nobody should be a user. Because one thing about takers, they're going to always take.
That's right.
They'll have a cutoff point.
Tell me about it.
Takers going to take till it's no more to take.
Was she younger?
She was younger. And so I told her, I said, I think you guys need to really sit down and have some very real conversations about what your future look like and what kind of plan are you guys going to, because me and Jonathan had a very specific plan. Yeah. About, because I don't mind the struggle, but this is not going to be my life forever. Yeah. So we have to have some kind of things in place. But thankfully, like I said, in my situation, we both wanted the same things out of life, and we both have the same work ethic. So getting to it was fairly,
it wasn't a problem.
It wasn't a problem. But you have to also walk in some kind of authority, which I had to learn. You got to know that you deserve nice things.
That's right.
You deserve to have things. Like, granted, we all trying to get to heaven and we're going to live great when we get there. But baby, I want to enjoy life while
we on this side. We for the ball on this side too.
We trying to brunch like we try.
That's right. Now listen, speaking of younger generation, I want to briefly tap into your children. Okay. Because your kids, you got daughters, and you have a son. Yes. But the kids have seen this firsthand example. And listen, I always say children don't necessarily learn from what you say, they learn from what you do. Yes. Right. And I want to hear, of course, I love boys because boys are a sweet spot for the mamas. But I really want to hear about your daughters. Okay. I want to hear, what do you feel like your girls took from that? Like, without you having to say, like, some moments where you were so proud.
I recently went to my oldest daughter, Kennedy. I went to a Galentine's event at her home. Okay. And I was so impressed. Okay. I was like, she chip off the old block. Yes. Like, everything was just so top tier and cutesy. And to watch her navigate in her kitchen and set up her table scape and have, she didn't, y'all know my story about the wines, child. They had to graduate my wine selection. Yeah. But everything she does is with excellence.
That's so nice.
And I looked at her and my husband said, boy, that ain't nothing but you all over.
Nice.
I love that she is a go-getter. I love that she has a mind of her own. Yes. So I've never pressured my goals on my children. I always say I just wanted to raise happy, good humans. Yes. Whether it's going to college, whether it's being an entrepreneur, whatever you decide to do it with excellence and be the best at it. She is in the hospitality industry and she thrives at it. Nice. Yeah, she's in the process of opening a coffee bar. She's 24. 24, and she is in the process of opening a coffee bar. Okay. Yeah, so she is a cocktail specialist. I am just so proud of her because she just has her own mind.
Her own purpose. That whole thing.
Yeah. And staying firm in who she is. And she does everything with such excellence.
It's so good.
So I love that.
She learned for the best, honey. Yeah.
Listen, I mean, even her serveware. I was like,
nice.
Because I love me some serveware.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I have a 25-year-old, and she's definitely a chip off.
That's my internet niece.
You know, she's off the old block, so she does the same thing. She's like, "Mom, I gotta have this party." She still takes a lot of advice from me, and it's good because I feel, and this is just my opinion. Of course, kids when they grow up, they learn, and that's the sweet age, and you're molding them right. But I think once they get in this adulthood, they need you the most.
They do.
They need you the most. They need you more than they did when they was little, because you could tell them to go to their room and play with a little toy or eat some crackers and do their homework. But now it's bigger than that. Because life, if you don't be in their ear and still provide parenting to them in adulthood, their problems as adults become your problems.
Yep. And another thing too is I think it is a sign that you have done a decent job as a parent, that they come to you with their problem.
Absolutely.
And know that they don't have to navigate this alone.
That's true.
My son has a clothing line.
I saw that.
Did really well, but he's still learning how to properly run a business. So he ran into some snags.
Yeah.
And he came to me and I could just tell he was frustrated. And I said, son, you are 22 years old.
Yeah.
You have time for a couple setbacks and you're still learning. I said, give yourself grace and give yourself credit, because you are way ahead of the curve for 22 years old.
Yeah.
I said, but thank you for coming to me, and let's sit down and let's figure this out so we can do better going forward. Yeah. And I was really grateful that as a young man, he felt comfortable to come to my husband and I and say, this is what's going on. I feel like I messed up on this. I felt like I could have done this differently. And I was really, really proud of him.
That's good. That's good. Do you feel like he go to you first before he go to John, or is it vice versa?
I think it just depends on what it is. I think for some reason he comes to me because my personality is more aggressive. So because if I need to get on that phone and handle some business,
listen, get with it.
He's coming to me because I'm gonna get with it every time.
Yeah.
Jonathan's personality, he is outgoing and friendly and robust. Yeah. But he's not confrontational. Yeah. John's just like, look, I want peace. Like, I don't want no drama. I just want everybody to be happy.
My husband like that too.
Yeah, and I'm with,
Yeah, I'm with the business. I'm with all of it. Like, all of it. What are we doing?
What are we doing?
Why? Right.
What we need to call? So I think that depends on what the situation is. Yeah. He'll go to John, and when they need a little wrestle, that's when he come to Mama.
Okay, good. And then what about baby girl?
We're still trying to figure her out. She's a nice mixture of us both. Yeah. She too is like John. She doesn't like a bunch of confrontation. She's very chill. Yeah. Because even parenting her, I had to do it differently.
I'm sure.
I often apologize to my older two because I was younger. Yeah. So I was like, everything was, and with Zoe, her personality is so soft and delicate. Yeah. That I have to be a little more, and as I matured as a woman and realized each kid you parent different, I had to, but also I had to let her know everybody not gonna be sweet, and
that's right.
Real life get real. Right. Your skin need to be a little bit thicker so you can handle when these storms come by. Because if I give you all sunflower and roses at home, when those real things happen in the real world, it's gonna eat you up and spit you out.
That's so true.
So I find we had to grow together.
Yeah. And you had to find her little rhythm.
Find a sweet spot for her where I'm firm. Yeah. But still, because she is very, very sensitive.
And she's like a senior now, or
No, she's in 10th grade.
Okay.
Yeah, she's got her learners permit. Yeah, that's the same age.
My son is in the 10th too. So
going to the 11th.
And he's the baby of the bunch. And I relate to that a lot. My parenting, I'm sure if you sit my daughter down, you sit him down, my daughter be like, oh, you never do that.
We say that. She's like, you let Zoe get her nails that long? Or you let Zoe do this? We could never do that.
Right. My son, his appetite is totally different from, of course, she's eating beanies and weenies growing up. And then now my son is 16 and he wants sushi. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he wants to. Yeah, so why we're not doing that? Yeah, he doesn't drink sodas, and listen, he stands his ground. He's big about his skincare regimen. Okay, listen, at 16, period. Like, and my daughter's like, Mom, you buy him all this skincare stuff? Yeah, I do. He said he's taking care of his skin. Right. But it's funny because that was the total opposite of her. I used to beat it in her. And then one skincare was Vaseline.
He said somebody daughter better come correct.
Yes. yes. So it's funny how that, you grow. And of course, listen, we got way more money now than we did then.
That's what I say too. My children, like, Lord, y'all had to struggle upbringing. I'm sorry.
Yes, she definitely had that. And so looking at her and looking at him, definitely night and day on things. But most importantly, one of the things I was super, super key on for my kids was I wanted to make sure they knew their purpose.
Yes.
Because when you as a mother get to nurture that child coming up, I was able to witness things in them that just was their glow. It was their shine. Like they could not go against that. My daughter from a young age have always been into younger kids. You send her outside, she'll play with the kids outside, but she's going to the little kids beneath her, and she's always out there teaching them something. Like you shut the door, you come back, she's doing this, and she's naturally teaching them something, and the kids will love her. And so I watched that in her from like a young girl. I want to say she was doing this in elementary. And so now she's 25 and she's been in her teaching career 4 years.
Awesome.
It's her fourth year teaching.
I remember her, you posted her first. Wow,
and it's her passion. And she's finishing her grad school. She'll be through her grad degree. Yeah, she's doing her thing.
I love it.
And I love that because you get to look back at your kids and be like, man, I'm grateful. I just, you did it right.
You know you did it right. I tell John all the time, I say, if God never does anything else for me, thank you.
Yeah.
We have successfully raised 3 decent human beings. Not perfect.
Yeah.
But 3 decent human beings. Even when my son goes to the gym. He may go kayaking.
See.
He go to work.
See.
And he run his business.
But who's kayaking at 22? Like, I'm just wanting to know. Like, we from the hood. Like, we going outside. We trying to figure out who on the block.
He is coming home.
Wow.
And I'm just thankful.
Yeah. That's
because it could be a whole different story with a young black man in this country. I'm just so thankful.
So thankful for that. So yeah. That's a beautiful thing. Listen, the whole experience and dynamic is a product of you living in your purpose, you living in your path. Sometimes that whole comparison thing like to creep up on all of us every now and then when we see different things, but we got to understand that this is our lane.
Yep.
I don't want to be in nobody else's lane but mine. If it's my lane, everything I need in this lane, I've already gotten. And if God has blessed you, listen, I'm one of the biggest cheerleaders.
Me too, girl. I love to see people do that. Girl, I get so excited for people like it's me.
Yes.
Because me being happy for people is not predicated on what I feel or what I'm currently experiencing in my own life.
Yes.
I legit be so... You can ask anybody, any of my friends that call me and be like, hey, baby, get a tax ID number. Come on, let's get this show on the road. You gonna get a business. Like, I'm always trying to see people elevate and do well. If you have an idea and you want to start a business, I'm going to give you everything that I know that can help you get this business started. I love to see people flourish because I want to see, especially us. I want to see us all do well. And we deserve that.
Yes, we
Black
do.
women deserve luxury.
Yes, we do. Oh, I see so much in you, right? So I'm sitting here, you talking. Oh, girl. Oh, girl.
You know, I'm
like I really, really see, because I'm just grateful that God has given me the gift of foresight where I get to see people the way God sees people, right? And I just see, yes, sweet Lois is coming. But you know what's really coming? Erica Hunter. Snap. She is in the building, baby. You hear me? And that is it. That's the real coming, right? And I get that you're doing Sweet Lois in August, but I just believe God is doing something bigger, girl. I feel that for you. I really do.
A lifestyle channel, well, not channel, but page on Instagram.
Okay.
And it's a twofold things, right? So it's lifestyle content.
Yeah.
And it's also therapy for me.
Oh, nice.
Because as I've shared with you many times, I am typically my personality is very contradicting.
Yeah.
So if I'm comfortable with you, I'll talk until you tell me to be quiet.
Yeah.
But if not, I'm very shy. So this page is forcing me
It's forcing you to get out of that box.
to get out there and to
Yeah.
actually post, because see, I can post on my private page.
Yeah.
I know who's there. I can approve who's there.
Yeah.
It's a comfort zone for me.
Yeah.
Everyday Hunter
Yeah.
is forcing me
Yeah.
to be uncomfortable.
Yeah. So tell them where to find Everyday Hunter. This is on IG, you said?
It's on Instagram and
Okay.
Facebook. It's
Okay.
Everyday Hunter. Everyday_Hunter.
Everyday_Hunter. Now, your fashion game, we know all the things, baby. That's what I say. Like, it's bigger than, I hear you on this bakery, but your light is not just on this side.
Right.
Like, if we put this curtain up and we just leave your light right here, that's cool and all, but your light just gonna stay right here.
And I'm open to expound on anything that God
Yes.
gives me.
Yes. Listen,
But any gift He's given me, I want to operate and walk in that.
Yes, I see bigger. I see not just bakery news. I see news on how to bake out your life.
Okay.
Right. Like, it's bigger than that.
Mhm.
Like, the whole recipe of what it takes. Here's the sugar, here's the flour. I see you telling people, here's God. Add this ingredient. I think they need to hear that from you, friend. I'm for real.
I like that.
And it's
I
coming.
receive that.
That's what's really coming.
I
You say
receive
Sweet
that.
Lois coming. Now it's Erica
Well, I do have a
Hunter.
cookbook I'm
Yeah.
working on.
Good. Good.
And the cookbook is geared towards, and it's pretty, again, here's that self-doubt that used to get in the way, right? So when
Yeah.
I thought of the concept of the cookbook, I said to myself, oh man, nobody's going to buy this. Everybody know how to make these dishes already.
Yeah.
But then I would get people be like, I don't know how to cook. I need you to, can you
I want
please
your
show
recipe.
me
Right.
how to make, and I'm like, oh, I just assume that everybody
Right.
knows how to do this. So the cookbook will be 7 days of meals and dessert pairings.
Nice.
Yes. So, and it
Nice.
is going to be geared towards trying to get young mothers and women of all ages, but
Mhm.
specifically younger moms, on how to be able to get a meal on the table for your family.
Nice.
And semi-homemade. We don't have to, everybody don't have to be big mama
Mm.
on a Wednesday.
Mm.
But it is, I think we should it's a lost art of sitting down with your family,
Mm.
having conversation over a meal.
That's good. And all of this is in a cookbook.
Yes.
Oh, come
So
on.
it'll be inspirational messages.
Yes.
It'll be a dinner recipe, and then there'll be
Mhm.
a dessert pairing.
Okay. Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Tell
Yeah.
us everything. We're gonna close out. Do you have any 225 moments that you want to give everybody before we close today? Like, what's gonna be that, like, here's your 225? Because at 225, you're supposed to set your alarm, and when your alarm goes off, you meditate on what you want God to restore in your life, because 225 is all about restoration.
I think the 225 moment that I would love to share for everybody is to ask God to give you your purpose
Mm.
and to tap into your potential.
Mm.
Because I believe those two are aligned. Your purpose and your potential. And to tap into it and really don't let the gifts he's given you go to waste.
Yes, that's
it will be a
good.
service to you and him.
That's good.
Yeah.
Come on, friend. See, you ain't know that. Look at that. You know you had that. You was like, you had to go on the bottom. That wasn't even at the bottom. That was at the top. You just need to go in and dig it out. That's all.
it.
That's all. God is good. Listen.
Yes.
This is 225 Moments with me, MNicole. And I told you guys, we're going to have some wonderful stories of God's restoration and his power, because God doesn't just restore. He takes us from loss to abundance, and abundance is beyond or what we could ask or think. I hope you enjoy having Erica Hunter on,
Yes,
because
thank you for
Erica, your
having
story
me.
was so amazing. But I want you to
Thank
tell
you.
everybody where to find you, not just Everyday Hunter, even Sweet Lois. Tell everybody about that too.
Hi guys, you can find me on Instagram at Sweet Lois Cake. That's LOIS Cake. You can find me on Facebook under the same thing, Sweet Lois Cake. You can also find me at www.sweetlois.com. So I hope to connect with you all soon.
Yay. Yay. So again, we got to have you back, because listen, this whole Sweet Lois in August, I believe God gonna do some other things with Erica Hunter before that. I do believe that,
Okay.
because it don't take God all day to move.
It
I don't. I just believe that.
Okay.
And so I pray that this has blessed you today. You need to know that God is in the restoration business on
Yes.
family, faith, and all the things when it comes to your journey. Just stay authentic in your lane, and most importantly, surrender so that you can be aligned with your purpose and your potential, as Erica says. Okay. Listen, I pray that this blessed you today. Erica gave us some good nuggets today. God is in the restoration business, faith, family, all the things on your journey, because he will restore you, and not just restore, he's going to take you to the next level, and that's restoration and his rising power. Listen, I hope that 225 moments for you, you're going to set those, right? Remember, Erica said, set them
That's right.
to purpose and potential for you to tap in and see, to stay on your path. If you're looking at where you can find us, share this with your friends, your family. If this blessed your socks off, tell a friend. All right. You can look us up, 225 Moments with MNicole, on all podcast platforms, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Wherever you want to look us up, you'll find us there. And I can't wait to see you next time. Thank you for watching. And don't forget to set your alarms to 225.